Steelers fans, you could win a trip to Super Bowl 55 and a new 2021 F-150. The official truck of the Pittsburgh Steelers, sponsored by Neighborhood Ford Store. Rules and regulations are on the entry page, and remember, this contest is a twofer. Scroll down the page after you voted for the super fan of your choice and enter to win that truck. Visit FordHallOfFans.com/football.
All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Sitting here along with Andrew Fillipponi at the 93.7 The Fan cam. We're taking your phone calls. We'll get to those in a second. But I want to read a tweet here. Brian Moyer just tweeted us, can we franchise Juju with the intention of trading him? Teams covet him. Find a team like the Jets that he's happy with. Could get a first round, maybe. If they had intended to trade him, they would have done it earlier in the year, right? And first of all, I don't even think that they could, like we talked about earlier, they can't afford to tag him. I don't think they could do it. I don't think that's a realistic possibility, and I don't think Juju would command a first-round draft pick.
Well, look, wide receivers get traded a lot, okay? It's very common. Antonio Brown's been traded a couple times. Randy Moss got traded a ton. Terrell Owens played for a bunch of teams. You know, these guys don't tend to stay with one team for a long time the way franchise quarterbacks do. Or, you know, Larry Fitzgerald is the exception to the rule in Arizona. But it's just not the timing of it all. You know, if they franchise him and try to trade him, if everybody knows they can't keep him, Richie, what leverage do they have to get much back? I mean, maybe a mid-round pick. I don't even know right now. You know, the cap is in question because of the finances of the league being thrown off by the pandemic. I don't even feel like I can adequately give a well-reasoned response. I mean, it's a fair question by Brian, but it just, we don't see a lot of things. We don't see stuff like that from the Steelers, right?
Yeah.
If they franchise you, it's because they want to keep you for another year. They franchise Bud Dupree, it's not because they want to use him as a trade chip, it's because they want him to play in 2020. So that would just be very out of character for the Steelers to do something like that, to franchise him with the intent on dealing him.
Yeah, and I don't think he's worth that kind of money to franchise him. They got some good young receivers here, and maybe you get another guy in the draft. Let's go out to Mike in Oakland. How you doing, Mike?
Hi, Mike.
What's up, gentlemen? Welcome back, Andrew. And Rich, it's my birthday today. I'm calling.
Hey, happy birthday, Mike. H2P.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Pitt had a great win yesterday. That's not what I wanted
Andrew
to call
loved
about.
that game.
That was amazing. Just like Northwestern, they came back at the very end. It was great. No, here's what I want to mention about the Steelers and get your thoughts and Andrew's thoughts about Ben. Chris on the show yesterday brought up a really good point. Everyone thinks because Ben had a great second half against the Colts that he's back. I mean, he has been terrible for a month. Okay, one half, in my opinion, doesn't make it seem like he's back. I mean, why couldn't he do that against Cincinnati, one of the worst teams in the league? I mean, he stunk against the Reds, against Washington. I mean, I think, like, if for me, and I could be wrong, but I still am a wait-and-see approach with Ben because I thought Mason had a better deep ball than he did.
Well, he did have a better deep ball than him. Andrew, you're right. He's right to a point there, and Chris is right. He had one good half of football, maybe 3 good quarters in a span of 5 games.
Yeah. No, hey, if you have skepticism about Ben Roethlisberger going into these playoffs, I'm not here to yell and scream at you, okay? I think that's a perfectly understandable. I don't think that it's a panic-laden opinion to have. But I do think there's another side. For example, Ben Roethlisberger in 2020 overall still had a pretty good year. He threw 30 touchdown passes, yay, the 10 interceptions, but I think complete body of work did a pretty good job. Now he's also well rested, and I think there's a double component to that, Richie. Physically, he's well rested, got some time. That knee was aching. He got some time to heal that and rest that. Elbow, same thing. But also, how about mentally, Richie? I mean, this team acted like, and it was there. I'm not going to fight them on this either. They thought they had a bye, then they didn't. They thought they were going to play the Ravens on Thanksgiving, then they didn't. So they really never got a chance to recharge their batteries. Ben got to do that this week, and I do think that should help him going into a matchup against the Browns on Sunday night.
All right, Mike out in Ross. What's up, Mike?
Hey, how you guys doing tonight?
Good, thanks
Mike.
for
I'm
calling.
calling Big Ben's getting too much of the blame for all this. I mean, they're 12-4, and you're talking about he has a dead arm, and then you look against the Colts, and those 4 losses wasn't all Ben's fault. I mean, they dropped a lot of passes that could have kept drives going, and he's not the ones calling the 2- and 3-yard plays at the line of scrimmage.
But, Mike,
I
I
got
think
one more
he is
thing to
calling
say.
some of those. Andrew, don't you agree? I mean, I know it's not all Ben's fault. I want Ben in there, but he's running this offense, right? I mean, Randy Fichtner's the offensive coordinator, but Ben's out there calling the plays most of the time. He's the one making those decisions. He's the one that's deciding to throw to the 5 yards.
Yeah, don't blame the media for this, okay? The NFL wants it this way. The NFL has changed the rules now to make it so it's a quarterback-driven league. They believe the quarterbacks are the biggest names, the biggest stars, the biggest celebrities, so they have set up the way the game gets played to showcase those players. So in 2020, now 2021, quarterbacks have more say in whether their team wins or loses a game than ever before. So with that comes, when you're 11-0 and Roethlisberger isn't in the MVP conversation, people in our shoes defend him and stick up for him. When they struggle down the stretch and he plays poorly against Buffalo and Cincinnati and for the first half against the Colts, we call him out for it. That's just the way it is. If you look at the quarterbacks in the AFC right now in these playoffs, Richie, how many of them are playing worse than Ben Roethlisberger? Really? I mean, Baker Mayfield hasn't done well. He almost lost to Mason Rudolph. Phillip Rivers just got beat by Ben Roethlisberger. But going into the playoffs, who's playing better right now, Lamar Jackson or Big Ben? I still want to see Lamar Jackson get it done in the postseason, but there's no debating it. Lamar Jackson, he's got his mojo back right now. Let's see if Ben can take that little bit against the Colts and carry it into the playoffs.
Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, all those guys. All right, we're going to take a break, but before we go to take a break, we got our Tri-State Office Furniture tweet of the night, and this is one of your colleagues, Josh Roundtree. Would you trade T.J. Watt for Deshaun Watson straight up? He did a poll. I wouldn't. First of all, they can't. This is unrealistic because you can't do it. You could never fit Deshaun Watson under the cap, having Ben Roethlisberger. And, even if you cut Ben Roethlisberger, you still have $22 million in dead money. It can't happen. But I don't think I would do it.
Well, does the team with the best pass rusher win the Super Bowl? Look at Aaron Donald's team. He's gotten to one. He hasn't won one. J.J. Watt's never been to a Super Bowl. I don't know. I'd rather have the great quarterback. All things being equal.
Is Deshaun Watson a great quarterback? I mean, he has some good stats.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. To me, I think he's one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, and he's still young.
All right, we got to take a break. Back with more of your phone calls, some of your tweets coming up next. Stay right there.